All right, hey Rodney. I am in a voice call with. I've got Leah, I've got Vanessa, I've got Jack, and I've got Zonny. Um,
Yes.
so I'm just doing this on Friday night. This is the only way I could get people together to do it. So, yeah, everyone's on a voice call. I've sent them all the PowerPoints. They can access that. So they're going to be reading along to that as I do this presentation. So here's my presentation. Yeah, if you hear any noise, it's just them on their phones. They're just going to give me feedback as I go through this. Alright, so freelance musician and original artist. So, yes, so those are my ideas. What I'm going to be doing is being a freelance musician, playing covers, playing originals as well. And I'm going to I'm going to be recording my own bass parts, putting them online, advertising it online, and all that kind of stuff. So let's go into it. So I have a website, Myles the bass player, and that's available. You know, it's great. People can type it in. It's got to be at the top of the list. Type in bass player, it's right there. It's straight to the point, and it's going to pop up at the top of search engines. So, the website is available, and there's no other businesses with that name. All right. So the kind of people you would kind of expect to be your audience for like a freelance cover musician, about 40 to 60-year-old males. They're probably going to be some Aussies, English-speaking fellas, working in like middle class, working class. They're going to have wife, kids, and some of them are going to have music as a full-time job, and like to go to the pub and that kind of stuff. Freelance original musicians, they're probably going to be a bit younger, 18 to 30 years old. These guys also probably Aussies and speak English, working middle class people. They're probably students or ex-students, and they're probably good at being musicians, proficient at it, and they live probably with their parents or with housemates, and are always up to date on social media. And being an original bass musician, they're probably going. The audience is probably going to be 18 to 24-year-olds. They're probably also Aussies and speak English, working in middle class. They're also up to date on social media. They're quite young, so these guys are probably just working at Woolies, just doing that, making ends meet. They probably live with their parents or with housemates, and they're probably inexperienced with paid gigs or let alone gigs at all. All these are aimed at kind of males because 90.7% of musicians are males. So it's interesting to know. Alright, so the kind of customers that will benefit using my services, customers won't have to cancel their gigs. So people who already have an established band, maybe the bass player's always sick, hit me up. They don't have to cancel their gig, keep powering through it, just hire me out. They can rely on my knowledge of popular songs. So I have the set list, which I know, and it ranges from 70s and 80s, and, popular songs all the way till now. So that would cover a wide range of musics. Yes, I can learn original and cover parts quite quickly, and I can improvise a bass line or compose a bass line. So people looking for some originality, I can compose bass lines for them, as well as improvise on the spot for them. So customer needs. I can perform when a band needs a bass. Yes, so customer needs a bass player. I'm there for them. They can't bail out on a well-paid... Yes, so they can't bail out, especially if they want to keep their professionalism, want to look good, and get their money, of course. I can learn the original songs quickly. It's crucial to play every paying gig when performing originals. Yeah, so playing originals, you can't really miss a gig because you know you want to be playing your stuff. Lots of people do like playing covers, so original songs are a bit harder to play in terms of getting an audience. Recording a composed recording at home means it's accessible to the world. So, as my second business is recording my own bass parts at home and sending off to other musicians who may want bass in their songs, original bass parts to their songs. So, being accessible to the world, is a very cool thing to do.
Question. I have a question.
Yes, Zon.
Okay. Would you be expecting these bands to pay you the same rate they were going to pay the original bass player?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Just because I'm part of a band as well, I can do a fairly good job as well. I think it's fair that they pay me the same amount as the bass player from the other band, their band would usually get. Because if I'm doing this over a period of time, let's say like they broke an arm or something like that, they're not out for like one gig, they're out for a few gigs. So I don't want to be get paid like 25% less, because that's just, that's robbing me. So thanks for the question though.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So 5 benefits of my service. Yes, I can perform covers of a song accurately and convincingly on a short notice. That comes down to the set list and learning those songs quickly. I can sustain a positive band image and reputation, keeping up the professionalism. I can read bass sheet music quite convincingly, and I'm able to pick up cues fast. So I'm good with kind of those improvisational kind of keys and all that kind of stuff. Kind of just can rock up and read kind of thing, I can create an improvised bass line when the time calls. I can compose a bass line which is perfectly suited for a specific original song, and I can accurately recreate sounds and effects on original songs. So that comes down to having a pedal board and having the correct effects and the correct kind of bass tone and all that kind of stuff, just to make sure you're reliable in that sense. So ways I'm actually going to implement my business idea. So I'm going to choose a business structure, write a business and marketing plan, research and market. I'm going to, product development, research any required business licenses and permits, get into trade associations, risk assessment. If I have a team, I'll, engage and use them the best I can. Set up an appropriate accounting system, get my ABN, already got that. Insurance or public liability and equipment, that's pretty important. IP Australia, trademarks, copyright, sort that out. Superannuation, develop marketing materials, agreements and contracts, and sort out finances. So resources I need. I need to be active on the social media if I'm trying to advertise myself out there. So it's important to have like a mobile phone, a laptop, website. Got to have my musical instruments, business cards, business and marketing plan, instrument accessories like leads and pedals and all that kind of jazz. Got to have my own place, and definitely software. Because you need all the professional.
10 resources?
10 resources.
Is that what the question asked?
Yeah.
You've only got 9.
Have I? Right. Well, I only got 9 resources. The 10th one. It's probably important to be able.
Add in social media. That's what I did.
Well, social media. Social media and having transport as well. So that's definitely important. So car, able to carry your equipment. I'll chuck that in there after this. Alright, so similar business ideas that I found online. Is there any questions you guys have to ask?
Nope.
Alright.
I was just wondering if you have like a massive pedal board. Like, what would happen if, like, for a band you were playing for, it needed, like, a pedal you didn't have? What do you do? I don't know.
Well, as I said in my resources required, I set a laptop there, and that includes having all those MIDI options as well that I could use. So
Smart.
yeah, it's definitely important to have a decent running laptop. But thanks for the question. So similar business ideas I've found just by looking up bass players in Brisbane, or just bass players. So I got these guys. I got Frank, Kai, Craig, Joe, and Radio Bariliari. I don't know how to say his name, but anyway. So we got Frank. He's 34 years old. He's looking to join a rock / metal band. He's played on stage 100 times, and he is found on Gumtree. So good on Frank. Kai, he's 26 years old, and he's looking to join a heavy metal band. He has gigging experience, and he's found on the Brisbane Musicians Wanted Facebook page. So, Radio Barrialari, I think that's how you say it. He records original bass tracks online, and his ad says he'll groove your track with a hot bass line. So he's from Argentina. He lives there as well, and he's a session bass player over there. And he comes from Fiverr. He's 5 out of 5 stars in Fiverr. So, we got that one. We got Craig. He's 72 years old. He's been playing for 20 years, and he's played about 10 to 50 gigs in his lifetime. It says he's only committed 1 night a week. But he likes to play R&B, blues, and rock, and he was found on Bandmix, another website, to find other musicians. And lastly, we have Joe. He's one of a kind. He has a one-of-a-kind bass sound. He likes hard rock, has a full-time job, and he was also found on Gumtree. So that's kind of my competition that I'll be facing up against. Currencies. Cultural issues. So there's going to be currencies and exchange rates, especially having this business online, recording bass tracks to people around the world. We're going to have different currencies, so it's important to manage all that. There's going to be language barriers, trademark protection. There's important holidays and religious issues. They kind of tie in together. Don't want to do something against that to offend anyone, kind of thing. Social issues. There's racism in Australia, a big one, especially because we're a very multicultural country. There's also sexual harassment and assault in the industry. The gig economy is quite tough. There's no sick leave, or you get no super and no holiday pay, so it's tough. Social media and internet regulation, binge drinking and underage drinking, just kind of stereotypes almost of Australians. Environmental issues. So there's going to be extreme weather at times, may cause transport and venues to close. So I just have to keep that in mind when I'm trying to get to venues, finding my way back home and getting all that. Driving a car and truck causes more damage to the environment than public transport. So when I'm traveling long distances or in the city even, it's probably best to just take the public transport for that matter if I'm able to. Don't litter. The use of electricity of running a bass, pedals, computer, laptop, and all that tolls up eventually. So cleaning agents, sprays, and chemicals used to clean equipment, basses, strings, and all that just could harm the environment and all that stuff. Have you guys got any questions?
Nope.
All right. So commercializing my services. So I have got my website, milesthebassplayer.com.au. This pops up top of the search when you type in a bass player. Invest in professional website, and so I'm gonna really work on making my website stand out from the rest, because all my competition was just based on like Gumtree and Facebook and Fiverr and those kinds of things. But to really set apart, it's good to have a really professional website with, you know, demos, clips, you know, professional like profile pictures and my information, you know. So when I do advertise on these sites like Gumtree, Facebook and Fiverr and all that, they're all just going to link back to my website, just because it looks more professional. But they're a good tool for getting out there and getting people who use these different sites. So I'll have regular videos of my playing on social media in different genres. So advertise myself playing different genres just to widen my audience. Yes, I'll follow up with my previous clients, because you don't want to lose that. You know, that 1 gig extra is, you know, that's always good to have. Business cards and network opportunities. So always get out there. You know, when you're not playing, go out to gigs and stuff, and, you know, talk to the musicians there. Because more times than not, you'll meet someone and, you know, form a bond with them. Just go to the pub and stuff, kind of thing. You know. Alright, so I got some professional advice. I messaged 2 of my friends. One of them is Troy Thorpe, and the other one's Tiana Davies. Just messaged them on Facebook Messenger. Alright, so I asked Troy here about my business ideas, and asked him if he has any tips. He said he likes the ideas of both my concepts. The main focus needs to be on advertising yourself and making sure you have proof of quality out there, be it in your advertisement or linked profile. Word of mouth is also an amazing tool. I, for one, strongly underestimated the power of it. So I guess tip 1, ensure the quality of advertising is high enough and includes some demos. Tip 2, keep your prices appropriate to skill but also your notoriety. And tip 3, remember, no job is too small. So Troy, he's been in the business for about 15 years. He was playing bass since he was a kid. Plays bass and drums and guitar, so he really knows what he's talking about. Has been making a living as a musician. So Tiana, so for her opinion, she said, being online, make sure you're on all social media platforms and you keep them all up to date. Engage your audience through polls, questions, and competitions and stuff like that. And always use hashtags, because that's how a lot of my stuff gets seen and it increases followers. So yeah, just being active on social media, which is apparently harder than it seems, as she says. Tiana's been playing music most of her life, and she goes to the con at the moment, but she also does lots of paid gigs and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. All right. Have you guys got some questions?
You might want to crop out some of those messages, like if you've got them in, because you've got something about someone shaving his head.
Yeah.
I want to crop that out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
From the assignment, because I don't know.
Yeah, I probably should have. Alright, thanks for that. Anyway, go on to ethical issues. So, it's good to ask myself these kinds of questions, such as, would I play at an event where it is promoting excessive use of drugs and alcohol and those kinds of things? Would I purchase a piece of equipment knowing that it damages the environment, or it uses something like sweatshops? Would I record for an advertisement knowing it's promoting mass animal slaughter or drugs or anything like that? Yeah. Would I play in a Catholic band when I am a different religion? Or would I be part of a political campaign if I don't support that particular party? So it's always good to ask these kinds of questions. Develop original concept. So how I develop these concepts, being a bass player myself for 9 years, it's given me lots of experience with the online presence for bass players, because as being somewhat of a millennial, I am 18 years old. I've been using social media quite a fair bit. So I kind of know the presence. Yeah, and sites like Gumtree and Facebook, they don't really attract many professional musicians. They're usually just people wanting to play, and usually these good musicians, they know other people who may know other people who are bass players to be in their bands. So yeah, so most of these sites don't really attract that many professional people. But yes, having a website is the best chance for online professional presence. I'll be promoting all my bass services on this website. Even though I've got 2 business ideas, just going to promote it on Myles, the bass player. Yeah, at the moment it's very oversaturated with very mediocre kind of professionalism. Not many people have that. I haven't seen one website linking back to a bass player or a musician in general. There's usually some for singers, but yeah, none for bass players. So professional look stands out from the rest. So even though it's oversaturated, none of them look that professional, which I think is the main point of this business concept. Really stick out from the rest. Any questions?
Have you considered, okay, I know you don't want to use like social media, but there are some sites like Instagram where a lot of musicians that aren't in popular bands or whatever are quite, they're doing well with attracting people just by showing small clips of what they do. So I reckon you should consider doing something like that, especially on Instagram.
I think that's like almost being like a content creator though. Whereas Myles is going for more of like a business.
Well, I do agree. I do agree with you on
There's
that.
still validity though.
Yeah, well, I think somewhere in this PowerPoint I do say having on Instagram I was going to do like a riff of the week kind of thing. I think that could have been good to attract people. But yes, Instagram definitely is important, and I do understand the point of view of me kind of taking a different route than a content creator. But you know, I think every bit helps, especially.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Being on like more of a social online, like an online presence rather than like in-person presence, because I got lots of I would have lots of clients around the place. So yeah, but thank you.
I was more so just saying I really do like the idea. Of standing out by having a good website.
Yeah. Oh, okay, awesome. Alright, yeah, thank you. Alright, so some things that could potentially go wrong with this business. There could be cash flow issues. Keep a reserve of money, and sometimes you might have to ask for deposits up front, and you have to follow up on your invoices, and you know, you might have to even do background checks on the clients you're working for, just to make sure they're legitimate people. Another issue, not getting paid on time. You know, that's why you need to request upfront payment or deposit if you really need that the payment quickly. You can join the Federation of Small Businesses, where it's no collection, no fee. So that's always good. And you can always send a letter requiring payment. That doesn't really work. Letters, no. Client goes bust before being paid in full. You'd have to lodge a claim with a trustee in bankruptcy or an insolvency practitioner, which is a bit of a pain, I think. Your work drives up. When that happens, you just have to network frequently. You can't really give up. Keep being active on social media, and send out regular newsletters. So you're just being active with your kind of online presence on online audience. Number 5, I can become ill and I can't work. So always have lots of insurance, like income protection, critical illness cover, and life insurance, because you never know what's going to happen, and you do have to cover yourself, especially as an independent business. you don't have that much support because you're basically doing everything yourself. So you need to keep in mind all this. End up with a nightmare client. They're a pain in the ass, but you just have to learn to spot the hard ones, or you have to push through it even if it does drain you a bit. It's just kind of a thing to balance. So you might forget to save your tax bill, so you have to make sure you save enough money to pay tax and national insurance contributions. So your GST and stuff like that. You have to decide whether to pay that kind of stuff, and you have to save up tax money for tax, because again, you're doing it by yourself. Maybe even stash money in a separate high interest savings account. Just so it helps you get through hard parts. So you could get sued by a client, or things can go wrong. You have to obtain relevant insurance beforehand, and you have to check whether you are required by law to have certain insurance policies. Key contract leaves his or her position. One of your connections, they're gone, they got replaced. The best thing to do is keep in touch and emphasize how much it's been enjoyable working for them, and ask to meet the new replacement if you can really do that. And number 10, client isn't happy with work. This can be very draining, especially when you put lots of effort into it, but you have to identify the problem and get the requirements that they want specifically in writing, so you've got something to back yourself up with. So my business, it holds a high standard compared to other people in the competition, advertising on those kind of websites. Having a good portfolio on my website, good videos, just a high professionalism is super important, just to stand out from the rest. I can advertise on Gumtree, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Fiverr, all those things linking back to my website, because that just broadens my horizons to who my audience is, and I need to get as big as an audience as I can, so it's important to have the online presence. So MylesTheBassPlayer.com .au provides a professional lookup, sets apart my business apart from the rest. Just reiterating, you really have to make it stand out. As I said, no one's really doing it, so it seems like it's a pretty open market, and that's kind of backed up by what the professionals said. Just they all mentioned keeping a good social media. Have you guys got any questions? Jack, Leah, Zon?
You said with if you end up with a nightmare client.
Yep.
Your note is to launch the difficult clients, but does that mean you just wouldn't go for one or whatever?
Can you repeat that again? You kind of dropped out a bit there.
Your note on the nightmare client is on spot the difficult ones.
Yep.
But would you just not go to the difficult ones?
Well,
you work?
Sorry, that's the thing you kind of have to balance, because sometimes you might be in need of money, and you got a difficult client who might pay well, and it's just up to your kind of judgment, because sometimes you know if it's a difficult client, and you'll be like, all right, am I going to deal with these guys and just get the gig done, get paid kind of thing? It's going to be hard to identify them, especially when starting off, I would imagine. Over time, I think it would be easier to spot out the hard ones, and you have to be wary whether or not you actually want to do the gig or not, especially when you need the money. But yes, is that all? All right, that sounds like it's all. All right, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Rodney. All right.